For the last few years, we've gotten used to thinking about AI as something we talk to, a tool we prompt. Well, that entire relationship is about to flip on its head. We are right on the edge of a massive revolution. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what that means. Welcome to the age of agentic AI. So, what's the big deal? Well, here it is in a nutshell. AI is going from a passive assistant to an active partner. It's not just going to answer your questions anymore, it's going to start taking action for you. And that one little change, it fundamentally rewrites our relationship with, well, pretty much all technology.
Okay, so let's get specific. What are we really talking about? The term you're going to hear everywhere is agentic AI. And the best way to think about it is like this. Instead of asking your AI to draft an email about your trip to Tokyo, you just tell it to plan your trip to Tokyo. And then it just does it. It finds the flights, books the hotel, uses other apps, and puts it all on your calendar. It plans, it acts, and it gets stuff done. That right there is the agentic leap.
And you know what happens when there's a technological leap this big, right? It kicks off a brand new gold rush. We are seeing entire industries get turned upside down as companies scramble to figure out how to use and, just as importantly, how to control these new autonomous agents.
Just take a look at the entertainment world. For years, their relationship with AI has been, well, let's just say it's been all about lawyers and copyright lawsuits. But now, even the biggest players are realizing you can't just fight this wave. You have to figure out how to work with it. And this is where things get really fascinating. It's like this great corporate AI paradox. Check out what Disney's doing. On one hand, they're pouring $1 billion into a deal with OpenAI, basically saying, yeah, go ahead, use Mickey and Star Wars in your AI. They're all in. But at the exact same time, they're suing Google, another AI giant, for copyright infringement. It perfectly captures the tightrope every company is walking. How do you make money off the future while still protecting everything that got you here?
And make no mistake, the amount of money we're talking about is just staggering. This isn't some tiny little niche market. McKinsey is projecting that commerce just driven by AI agents is going to be worth over $1 trillion. That's trillion with a T. That's the scale of the new economy being built right under our feet.
And look, this isn't some far-off prediction. It's already happening. Gap is using these agents to figure out what you're going to buy next, and they've already seen a 30% jump in productivity. Lowe's is rolling out AI companions to 250,000 of its employees. And then you have companies like ServiceNow buying entire other companies just to handle HR for their new non-human workers. The agent workforce, my friends, has already clocked in.
But you knew there was a but coming, right? With all this incredible power and speed, you get a whole new set of problems. Unleashing these autonomous agents into the wild is causing some really alarming growing pains. And the risks, well, they're just as massive as the rewards.
So that brings us to the absolute crucial question. As we start handing over more and more of our lives to these agents, can we actually trust them to get things right? Especially when it really, really matters.
Well, the data is pretty sobering. A test from Google's own research lab, DeepMind, found that its very best model only got the facts right 69% of the time. 69%. I mean, that's not even a passing grade. It's a huge wake-up call that these systems are a long, long way from perfect.
And this isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. Just ask the author John Scalzi. He had an AI confidently just make up stuff about his own life and work. He called them fact-failing machines, which is perfect, because they don't just get things wrong, they get them wrong with this air of absolute certainty. And that's what makes these hallucinations so dangerous.
Getting facts wrong is one thing, but there's a much darker side to all this. The exact same tech that's creating this revolution is being weaponized by the bad guys. By some estimates, a staggering 80% of cyber attacks now use AI in some way. It's created a brand new, terrifyingly smart battleground for security teams.
And we are so far beyond those old, clunky phishing emails with the typos. We are now talking about AI that can write an email that sounds exactly like your CEO, and even references that real meeting you were in yesterday. Or think about rogue agents, designed to sneak into a company's systems and hunt for weaknesses all on their own. The threats have gotten personal and incredibly sophisticated.
So, faced with AI that makes things up and criminals using it to attack us, the industry realized it couldn't just keep building bigger, faster models. It had to start building the guardrails, and so now we're seeing this global race to create the rules of the road for this new agentic age.
And what's really wild is that the biggest rivals in this space, they're actually realizing they have to work together. They're coming together to build the shared plumbing, the basic pipes and protocols that will let all their AIs work together safely without everything blowing up.
A perfect example is the Agentic AI Foundation. I mean, look who's involved. Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, Anthropic. These guys are fierce competitors, but they're all working together on open source projects to create a common language for how these agents use tools and follow instructions. Because without that, it would just be complete chaos.
So what can companies do right now? Well, a pretty clear security playbook is starting to take shape, and it boils down to some key ideas. First, lock down your data before you let the agents anywhere near it. Second, you have to treat these agents like a new kind of employee with their own IDs and their own permissions. And finally, you have to watch what they're doing all the time. You just can't set them loose and hope for the best. It doesn't work that way.
And this isn't just an issue for big companies. The public is paying very close attention. This peer research data shows that nearly 3 out of 4 Americans are worried about deepfakes influencing elections. That huge level of public anxiety is what's really driving the push for rules, for transparency, and for regulation. Because if people don't trust this technology, the whole thing grinds to a halt.
So far, we've really been talking about these AI agents living inside our computers, in the digital world. But the next frontier is already here. And that's what happens when these agents get bodies and learn to operate in our world.
And no, this is not science fiction. As soon as 2026, Disney is planning to have a walking, talking, autonomous Olaf character from Frozen just wandering around its theme parks. Now, yeah, it's a cute example, but it's a huge signal. It marks the moment that humanoid robots start to step out of the lab and into our real lives.
But it is so important to keep the hype in check here. As the robotics pioneer Rodney Brooks points out, there is a giant difference between a robot walking a carefully planned path in a theme park and a general-purpose robot that can actually do useful stuff in your messy house. We are still a long, long way from that.
So how are they making this leap into the physical world at all? Well, the key technology is something called a General World Model, or GWM. Think of it like an AI that doesn't just understand language, it understands physics. It gets gravity. It can create these ultra-realistic simulations where robots can be trained safely without smashing up expensive hardware every time they fall over.
So let's wrap this up. We've seen how Agent AI is kicking off a $1 trillion gold rush, but it's also creating these scary new dangers, from fact-failing machines to AI cyber attacks. We've seen how that risk is forcing even the biggest rivals to team up and build some guardrails. And now, this same technology is starting to step off the screen and into our physical world. And all of that leaves us with the single most important question of all. As these agents get more powerful, more autonomous, who gets to write their rules? Because that is the challenge that's going to define the next decade for all of us.